Hello, Wanderlust of the world. Welcome back to my channel. I know I missed it last week, but this week I'm going to do it over for you guys. So this week I'm going to be uploading 2 videos so I can compensate the one that I didn't do last week. But I got new info coming and I'm so happy to share it with you. Right now I'm going to share in this video the countries that USA passport holders can visit, and those countries are 81 so far. So I'm going to do a count retouch with you about it over our cup of coffee. So, like I say, I'm going to discuss with you the countries that a USA passport holders can visit right now, and these are according to the Travel Leisure magazine. That is the one that normally do the list. I will say bi-weekly, but I actually checked the list that Travel Leisure did, and I go into the USA embassy and I go country by country and checking exactly what those countries actually are allowing and how all the stuff are going on. And as you can see, we have Anya today in the video, so you will see her around. We got 81 countries so far. We used to have 84. We got 3 countries that was removed from the list. They go back to close the borders and to deny entry to the tourist travelers. The leisure travelers, they are still letting in the travelers that are going by family emergency or they are going for work-related stuff. The 3 countries that were eliminated from the list is Barbados, Cambodia, and French Polynesia. The French Polynesia, we have to keep an eye because the update was that they were going to be closing till April 2021. And it's already April 2021. We're almost by the end of the month, but they have been on update. They say it in the embassy that they will have to keep an eye because even when they say it was going to be closed till April 2021, they were waiting for April 2021 to be the update date instead of the opening date. So if you were looking forward to travel to Cambodia, St. Barb, or French Polynesia and you are a USA passport holder, that is not possible right at this time. Probably in the near future will be. We got a list, a long list, like I say, it's 81 countries, and I would like to go through all of them one by one, but that's going to take us a lot of time. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post here the list of the names of all the 81 countries, so you can read it and check if in this list is the countries that you were planning to travel or anything like that, or you can get the input of which country you can visit right now 2021. But I'm going to mention, like I did previously with the Europe video, I'm going to mention some countries that caught my attention because they have something very different. Nonetheless, the majority of the countries, and I think the big recommendation that I can give, besides getting vaccinated, some countries, if you are vaccinated, you don't need to get tested, neither you don't need to get quarantined, and you just pretty much just need to wear your face mask or face covering option, and you're pretty much cool and good to keep going, and probably file the locator form. There are some countries like the United States that this doesn't apply. Like if you're vaccinated, they don't care. You still need to get tested 3 days before your arrival day. So my recommendations right now is 3 days prior your departure day, try to get tested. And I think this is the safest time frame that you can get tested and is going to be accepted. And you're not going to have any problem when you get to your destination airport. But yeah, most of these countries are requiring and requesting that every traveler to their country get tested at least. The minimum that I have, the longest is like 5 days. The minimum is 48 hours. So from 48 to 72 hours, for 48 to 72 hours. So try to get tested as close as possible, but that you can have your test with you to be able to show it in the entry port. So if you're traveling, all these countries are going to require you get tested. Most of them. Mexico is one of those that doesn't require for you to get tested or have any big requirements. But they are aware when you're trying to fly to another country, they do recommend that 3 days before you leave the country, you try to get tested. And the test that all the countries are requiring is a PCR test. It's not the quick saliva home test kit that you can do. Now it have to be the PCR test. And they are going to, you have to be prepared that there are going to be some health screening going on when you get to the airport. Like they're going to make you questions, they are going to take your temp, and you pretty much for all of those you have to file or submit a health declaration form, that you are in this declaration form telling them that you are not sick, that you have no symptoms, and that you have not been in contact with anybody that have been positive to COVID, and that you don't have COVID as well. But those questions vary per country, but pretty much that is the main contest that those forms tend to have. Besides, they're asking from when you're coming, how long you're going to stay, where you're going to stay, and stuff like that. And it's very important that you're aware which platform you have to use to file for those, because it's not the same for all countries. There are some countries that have apps that you can do it through the apps. There are some other countries that have web pages you can do online, and there's some countries that you have to do it manually in the physical papers. One of the countries that grabbed my attention is Aruba. Aruba, instead of having a health form, they're calling it embarkation and disembarkation card that you have to file it. You have to have it with you, and you have to be approved, so you can show it when you get to Aruba. And you have to be able to prove that you have insurance that is going to cover you during your whole stay, and the insurance have the capacity to cover you with any COVID-19 related medical treatments, emergencies, and anything like that. That is something that I would recommend as well, is that you try to get an insurance, a travel insurance or a medical insurance that is going to cover you during your whole stay in those countries, and that is a good insurance that is going to cover anything COVID-19 related stuff. Most of the countries are requiring this. There's some that are not requiring, but to be in the safe, try to have it. We will never know, right? It's like the travel insurance, is there. They offer to you at the end of the process of the purchase, and normally people say no, but actually it's very recommended that you have this travel insurance. It can save you so much. It's not just for medical emergency or anything, but travel insurance as well can help you if you have been delayed or anything like that. They can compensate you for lose money and stuff like that, but that's not what we're talking about right now, right? Aruba have this disembarkation card that you have to file for it, and you have to have a physical proof that you and whoever's traveling with you are insured by a medical insurance, and this insurance cover the COVID-19 medical related stuff. The other one that called my attention was the Bahamas. The Bahamas is another country that is requiring the evidence of insurance, and if you don't have one to prove to them, they giving you an option when you arrive to opt in insurance. They're going to have forms and stuff like that, and obviously you have to pay the fee over there for being able to be covered by this insurance during your whole stay in the Bahamas. The other one, Bangladesh is just besides the test, the negative result, and the health screening going in the entry, they are requiring the USA travelers do a 14 days quarantine, and that's very important. Not everybody is required quarantine, and if they require it, it's not the same length. Barbados is very interesting. They are requiring a 5-day quarantine, and when you get to the airport, you are submitted to get a second testing, and this test is coming out of your pocket. Like, non-government of any country is going to pay for any of your tests. So when you get to the airport, you are going to have to get tested to be able to enter the country, and you have to pay for that test. Fees vary, and I didn't see any like established fee for the COVID test at the airport in Barbados. Belarus, that's the other country. They just have a 10-day quarantine besides you bring your negative result and PCR result and doing the health screening on the entry port. Belize is doing a health form, and this is one of the countries. This, I think, is the only country they're doing the health form, but the health form is through their app. It's a Belize government app, and you do the whole health form through it. If you arrive to the airport without a negative PCR result on your hand, they are going to fine you $50 per person, obviously. $50 per person, plus you have to get tested, and you have to pay the fee for that test as well. So it's very important that we got that test before we're leaving. At least 3 days, the latest 3 days before, and this is the one that I recommend. 3 days before you leave, get tested, so you will be able to enter without any problem. It's making it easier for you. Like I said, hopefully we get vaccinated people, just show the passport and they can get to enter without much trouble. Will be easier. Bermudas is another country that's doing the second test when you arrive. You have to show your test that you did before departing from your country. And when you arrive to Bermuda's airport, they're going to submit you to a second test. Again, the second test coming out from your pocket. I cannot stress it enough so people understand that non-government of any country is paying for those tests for you, and neither is the U.S. Embassy paying it for you. Bermuda have very interesting. Bermuda is one of those countries that is charging to be able to get in the country. You have to pay a $75 USA dollar to be able to enter Bermudas. It's like $75 per people. Plus you have to pay the second test. These are stuff that you need to have in mind when you're traveling. And you have to file for entry authorization form. And if I'm correct, it needs to be approved before you get there. Bonaire is very, very interesting because they recently resumed direct flight from USA to Bonaire. Previously, you have to be able to get to Bonaire, you have to go through a corridor country where you will quarantine and get all those stuff done before you get directly into them. But now you can get directly from USA to Bonaire. And when you arrive, they are doing a rapid test to all passengers arriving to the airport. Once again, this test fee comes out from your pocket. And you have to file the health form, fill the health form, plus you have to have evidence that you are insured to be during your whole stay in the country. Brazil, the only thing that they're requesting is the health form, besides the negative result and the health checks upon arrival. British Virgin Island is the other country that is very interesting. Their health form is online, so you have to file this. Like New York, they have the health form online. You're going to get tested for a second time once you arrive, so you have to bring your negative test result, PCR test result. You're going to get submit, and you have to go through health screening checks. You have to bring your health form, fill it online. Plus, you have to pay a fee of entry of 175 USD per person. And the second test fee is coming out of your pocket. That's quite expensive. So, besides adding the air ticket, you have to add the hotel stay. If you rented a car, add that to that. Any expenses that you're going to incur while you're traveling there. Plus you have to add now a test fee plus an entry fee. It sounds quite expensive. So if you are up to waste money, British Airlines is your place to go. Chile is interesting because they don't have a form. You have to file for an affidavit of traveler. They have to be authorized before you get there. You have to file for the immigration form, or what we call the locator form, and you have to have evidence that you got insurance during your whole stay. So as well, besides bringing your negative results, PCR result, plus submitting yourself for health screening checks, you have to bring all this with you as well. Colombia just asking for the immigration form to be filled and approved, and Costa Rica is asking for insurance evidence. You have to have a health form filed, completely filled, and this Costa Rica, right? Yeah, Costa Rica government can short your stay, even if you plan it for a certain amount of days. Be aware that the Costa Rica government can short out your vacation or your stay over there. So I recommend, even when you're planning ahead, it doesn't say how short they're doing it or how many days they're shutting out from the stays of the tourist. But if you're one of those that already planned ahead what you're going to do through your whole stay, I recommend that you don't plan completely out. Plan 2 to 3 days, and depending what they allow you to stay, then you can add the rest to it. But plan the most important stuff that you want to do in Costa Rica for the first days, so that way your travel is not bummer and it doesn't miss anything that you actually wanted to see. Côte d'Ivoire is just asking an air travel declaration form to be filled and show it up upon entry. Croatia is very interesting. You have to have your negative test result, you have to file for the locator form, and you have to go health screening checks. But besides that, for them to allow you entry, you have to show them that you have a prepaid accommodation. If you don't have your hotel already booked and prepaid, they're probably going to deny entry and going to send you back, no matter how negative your result was. That you bring all those information and you go clear through the health screening checks. Curacao, they want evidence of insurance for your whole stay. They need you to fill the immigration card plus the locator form, and very interesting with them, they having a curfew right now from 1900 hours to 400 hours, so from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Democratic Republic of Congo is another country that is inquiring or requesting a second test upon arrival. Once again, this test fee comes from your pocket. Djibouti is the other one that's requesting a second test upon arrival, and Dominica is requesting a second test upon arrival. There are countries that have curfews like Honduras, Kenya, Kosovo, Lebanon, Montenegro, Morocco, Nigeria, and that pretty much the countries that have curfews. Um, Georgia have a curfew from 2100 to 500 hours, from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Honduras have a curfew from the 21 to the 100 hours to 500 hours. That's once again from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Kenya got a 2200 hours to 400 hours, so that's from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Kosovo has the same one from 10 p.m. to Kosovo has from 2200 hours to 500 hours, so from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Montenegro have the same curfew from 2200 to 500 hours, from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and Morocco curfew is from 2000 hours, 2000 hours, 800 hours. So it's from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. It's a 12-hour curfew. The shortest curfew right now is Nigeria, and the curfew is from hour 0 to 400, so it's from midnight to 4 a.m. Like I say, these are the countries that I mentioned, those that have something very special going on, something very unique going on. And there's a country, let me see, there's a country that I have something very, very interesting as well. Oh, the other country that has a curfew is Dominican Republic. Their curfew is very interesting. From Monday to Friday, the curfew from 2100 hours to 500 hours, from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. From Saturday and Sunday, their curfew is from 1900 hours to 500 hours. So Saturday and Sunday, the curfew starts at 7 p.m. and finalized at 5 a.m. There's a country, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm sorry that I'm so close to my notebook, but there is this country that have a bracelet system going on. It's a Caribbean island. That's all that I remember. Yeah, it's a Caribbean island that have this going on. Let's go back. Could be the Bahamas. I don't know. Okay, here, Bermuda's very interesting. Bermuda's very interesting for another reason. They got, you don't have to have the test that you have to bring with you. The test upon arrival, and depending how long you're staying, you're going to get tested more than once. If you're staying for more than 2 weeks, for more than 14 days, you're going to get tested on day 4, on day 8, and on day 14. You're going to get tested for COVID during your whole stay. So if you're staying for 15 days, you have to get tested 4 times in the Bermuda island. And all travelers are meant to wear a wristband. And if you take out that wristband, like you think nobody's watching you and nobody knows, If you take that wristband and you get caught, they're going to find you and they are going to give you another wristband to wear. So if you're traveling, you're a traveler, you're not a local from there, you're going to have to wear a wristband on your arm that identify you as a traveler, a foreign traveler, and you have to wear that through your whole stay. And it's very interesting. That's what's doing them very interesting. And like I say, most of these countries, you need to show your insurance, that you're getting insured through your whole stay. You need to bring a negative PCR test result. You need to show a health form or a locator form. And you need to submit yourself to the health screening checks that are put in places on those countries. There are some countries that face masks are required, like it's mandatory to wear your face mask, and if you don't wear your face mask, I'm going to put the country names here and the fine, because if you don't wear your face mask, you're going to get fined for not wearing it. I know there's a country, at least 2 countries I know the fine amount. There's some other countries that say that you're going to get fined, but it doesn't say how much you're going to get fined. So people, when you're traveling, be mindful of yourself, of the people that's traveling with you, but as well of the people that live in those countries. Be mindful, be respectful. Try to keep that social distance at must. Try to wear your face mask. This is not a hoax. This is not a lie. There are people dying about this because of this illness, this virus, and there's something going on there. The governments of every country are working on it to make possible that we can go back to normal, especially in the travel industry, because believe it or not, the travel industry generates such a huge amount of income for each country in the world, and it is right, Anya? It is needed that we are respectful and mindful with every people that we are visiting, and we get in contact during our trips and our travels during this pandemic situation, right? There's another country that I want to bring up. There's another country I want to bring up and that we need to keep an eye is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico so far is open for the USA travelers to visit and travel without many restrictions, but I have been keeping an eye on, and their cases are going up in Puerto Rico. Like right now, I can say that the whole map of Puerto Rico is back on red, and that's not good. You know, back on red means that the high numbers of COVID cases being found and confirmed. So probably Puerto Rico is another country, could be another country that's going to be eliminated from the list for a while. Probably they go back onto lockdown or they don't. We have to keep an eye. If Puerto Rico is one of your countries that you want to visit in 2021, keep an eye on it and try to stay tuned with those countries that you want to visit, especially with, like I say, Puerto Rico right now with cases going up. If you have questions about where you can travel, where you can't, what are the requirements of entry and of exit, what I recommend you try to go to the U.S. Embassy page and try to look for that country that you actually want to visit and check the requirements there. Like I say, this list I found it in a Travel Leisure magazine page, but even then, by the time you write it, by the time that I read it, there's some modifications happening in the U.S. Embassy page, and that's why I don't write everything from their magazine. I take the list, but I confirm that what I'm giving you is actually what is happening right now. And probably by now, me uploading this video, Probably have new updates going on their pages as well. So if you